years now. They had met in college and immediately hit it off, eventually tying the knot in a beautiful ceremony surrounded by friends and family. Wine is a kind-hearted and a caring individual, always putting others before herself. She worked as a nurse at a local hospital, spending her days caring for patients and compassion and grace. Jungkook, on the other hand, is a successful CEO of a tech company. He was driven and ambitious, always striving for perfection in his work. While he was passionate about his career, Wine couldn't help but feel she was constantly being pushed to the sideline. Jungkook's work consumed most of his time and attention. Wine had tried talking to Jungkook about it multiple times, expressing how lonely and neglected she felt. But each time, Jungkook would assure her that he loved her and that he was just busy with work. Wine understood the demands of his job, but she couldn't help but feel a pang of resentment towards him for not prioritizing their relationship. It was a rare evening when Jungkook and Wine found themselves in their bedroom, wrapped each other in each other's arms, lost in a world of their own. The room was dimly lit, the soft glow of candles casting a warm and romantic ambience. Their clothes were scattered on the floor, forgotten in the heat of the moment as they expressed their love for each other in tender embraces and sweet kisses. But just as things were starting to heat up, Jungkook's phone rang, shattering the peaceful atmosphere. He hesitated for a moment, torn between the call and the moment he was sharing with Wan. Reluctantly, he reached for his phone, seeing an urgent message from his team at work. But when frustration simmered beneath the surface as Jungkook's phone call interrupted their evening. Wan sighs deeply. It's always work, isn't it? Jungkook's expression tightened as he wrapped up the call, his sense of duty evident. Finishing up the call, I'm really sorry, Wine, but this is important. It's my responsibility to handle. Wine attempted to mask her disappointment with a strained smile, but her words held a hint of bitterness, forcing a smile. Of course, Jungkook, your responsibilities always seem to take precedence. Jungkook's irritation flashed briefly before he composed himself. It's not about priorities, Wine. It's about fulfilling my duties. Wine softly, her frustration bubbling. Fulfilling your duties seems to be the only thing you are good at lately. Jungkook's tone remained rigid as he responded. Jungkook, excuse me. Wine anger flared, her passion swearing him. You heard me, Jungkook. It's always work, work, work. When was the last time you made an effort for us? Jungkook's demeanor hardened further, his patience wearing thin. I don't appreciate the accusation, Wine. I'm not doing. Wine's frustration peaked at her defiance rising. And what about what needs to be done for us? Do we not matter anymore? Jungkook's jawlines, the tension between them palpable. That's not fair, Wine. You know how important my work is. Wine anger flared, but her hurting driving her words. What's not fair is constantly feeling like I am the second best to your job. I deserve more than just your scraps of time and attention. Jungkook's expression softened slightly, a flicker of guilt crossing his features. I understand you are upset, Wine, but please try to see things from my perspective. Wine's anger shimmered, but beneath it lay a trace of sadness, feeling the growing dividing between them. As the days passed, Wine's feeling of neglect and resentment toward Jungkook only grew stronger. She decided to take matters into her own hands and teach him a lesson. One evening, when she knew Jungkook would be coming home late from the office, Wine put on a sexy black dress that hugged her curves in all right places. She styled her hair in loose waves and applied a bold red lipstick, making her feel confident and empowered. When Jungkook finally arrived home, he was taken aback by the sight of his wife standing in the living room looking absolutely stunning. His eyes widened in appreciation as he took in her appearance. Wow, Ryan, you look amazing, he complimented, stepping closer to her. Wine smiled seductively, taking a step towards him. Do you like what you see, Jungkook? She asked in a sultry voice, her eyes looking with his. Jungkook felt a surge of desire course through him as he wrapped his hand around her waist, pulling her closer. You have no idea how much I am Mrs. Wine, he whispered. Wine could feel his hands wandering over her body, igniting a fire within her, but instead of giving him into the passion, she gently pushed him away, a teasing smile playing on her lips. I am sorry, Jungkook. I'm just not in mood. Jungkook's expression shifted from desire to confusion. But why did you dress like this and tease me if you weren't planning on the following through? He asked, feeling a mix of frustration and disappointment. Wine bit her lip, enjoying the power she held over him in that moment. I just wanted to show you what you are missing, Jungkook. Maybe you will understand how it feels to be constantly left wanting more. She replied. The next morning, as Wine entered the kitchen, she felt Jungkook's presence behind her. Before she could turn around, she felt his hand wrapped around her from behind, pulling her into a warm embrace. Good morning, Wine, he says, pressing a soft kiss on her shoulders. I am sorry, Wine. I promise I won't let work come between us again. I'll always prioritize a relationship and make time for us. Jungkook whispered, his voice laced with sincerity. Wine felt a small smile tug at the corners of her lips, appreciating his efforts to make amends, but then turned serious. She knew she had to make him understand the depth of his heart. With a serious look on her face, she replied, I don't care, baby. Jungkook's eyes widened in surprise, realizing that Wine was not to let him off the show easily. He felt a pang of desperation and guilt wash over him, knowing that he had hurt the woman he loved. Please, Wine, I can't bear to see you upset. I'll do anything to make it right. Just give me a chance to prove my love for you. He pleaded, his voice tinged with vulnerability. Jungkook's eyes. Wine turned around to face him, her expression softening as she looked into his eyes. She could see the sincerity and love in his gaze, and part of her heart melted at his display of desperation. I appreciate your words, Jungkook, but action speaks louder than words. Show me that you mean it, she said gently, wanting him to understand the gravity of the situation. I'll do whatever you want to fix this. Just say. She turned to Jungkook, her eyes sparkling with mischief and mischievous smile playing on her lips. Okay, seduce me, she said playfully, her voice laced with hint of challenge. Jungkook's eyes widened in surprise at the unexpected request. He was taken aback by Wine's boldness, but a smirk slowly formed on his lips as he accepted the challenge. Leaning in close, he whispered in her ear, his breath sending shiver down her spine. I don't need to do anything to turn you on, Wine. I'm enough for you, he murmured, pressing his lips softly against her neck. Jungkook's smirk widened as he realized the game she was playing. With a confident swagger, he moved closer toward his eyes dark with desire. But as Wine turned away and made her way to the kitchen counter, he knew she was testing him, pushing him to prove his love and desire for her in a way words. Taking a deep breath, Jungkook approached Wine from behind, his hands trailing along her waist as he whispered in her ear, Challenge accepted, my love. As Jungkook and Wine engaged in a playful game of seduction in the kitchen, the atmosphere was charged with tension and desire. Sensing the heat between them, Jungkook decided to take things up a notch. With a sly smile, he slowly removed his shirt, allowing his toned physique. Wine couldn't tear her eyes away as Jungkook's chiseled chest glistened in the morning light. The sight of her husband's sculpted body sent a surge of desire coursing through her veins, making her heart race and her cheeks flushed. As Jungkook finished his tantalizing display, he turned to face Wine with a smirk, ready to seal the moment with a passionate kiss. But just as their lips were about to meet, Wine suddenly jumped off the kitchen counter, catching Jungkook off guard. Confusion and shock filled Jungkook's expression as he looked at Wine, trying to decipher her sudden change in the menu. Before he could say anything, Wine spoke her voice. Nice show, Jungkook, but I'm feeling sleepy now. Let's continue this tomorrow, she said casually, a playful glint in her eyes, and she started to make her way out of the kitchen. Jungkook's short quickly turned to amusement as he realized the game Wine was playing. It's morning, Wine. Wine shrugged. How long are you going to keep this up, he asked, but Wine didn't respond. She simply winked at him and headed off, leaving Jungkook both amused and intrigued by his unpredictable and playful vibe. As he watched her disappear from the kitchen, a long and heavy sigh came from her mouth, knowing this was not enough.